What's up, Writing Workshop? First hour, I apologize for the wait on this video. Like I said in my update to you guys, I was having some tech issues last night, but I got those resolved, and I can finally film the editing and submitting your essay video. This one will be relatively short. I know a lot of you are working on drafting today, just because I'm filming this on Wednesday morning, and your essay isn't totally due until the end of Friday. But I do want to cover the process of editing and publishing, submitting, as we finish up our study of the writing process this week. Want to note your Who I Am essay is due in its entirety in Schoology by 11:59 p.m. this Friday. I'll cover how to submit in this video, and then over the next few days, I fully expect that you guys might have some questions if you're having issues submitting, so I'll make myself available to answer those questions, especially on Friday. Upcoming in our next lesson, so Friday technically, besides submitting essays, we are going to do our first journal grade. I'll actually cover that inside of Friday's lesson. So let's go there. Editing and submitting your essay. Now, just some directions for you here. It does say please watch the following video. That's the one I'm making right now, so this will appear right in this space. To help you edit and submit your Who I Am essay. Written below the video is a step-by-step guide that I'll be following for submitting essays to Turnitin through Schoology. The reason why we use Turnitin is just to give you and me a way to check for plagiarism. I'm not going to say that a lot of upperclassmen intentionally plagiarize essays, because I don't think that's the truth. I do think, especially as we get to our research paper later on, that it becomes very easy to accidentally plagiarize because of not properly citing sources. So the only reason why we're doing it for this essay is just so you guys can get used to the process. We will be using this method for the rest of our essays in this class. Before we do that, there's a revising editing checklist attached at the bottom if you'd like some guidance in proofreading. I'll walk you through just the basics of that checklist. I do want to remind you that this essay is not being heavily graded for grammar, because I haven't taught you guys any new grammar yet, but especially as you've practiced basic proofreading, spelling, capitalization, end marks, those kinds of things today, I do want you to at least give just a quick proofread to your paper so that you can fix those simple mistakes. Let's look at this checklist. Now for me, proofreading is two stages. Revising is first, so looking back at the writing process. Revising, once again, is the process of making sure your ideas line up, so revising has more to do with content. The second part of this is editing later on. My formatting got a little messed up here, but editing is the second part, which is working with language, working with grammar, spelling, sentence structure, all those things like that. So I just want to walk through this question by question, just to make sure that your essay has everything it needs. Under revising, just about every question is a part of an essay, right? So does your first sentence, your attention getter, effectively grab your reader's attention? Yes or no? If yes, move on. If no, if you're like, this attention getter isn't great, maybe mark that as a no and come back to that as you revise. Background sentences are next. Do they give necessary information about your topic, more likely about yourself for this particular essay? And then does your thesis clearly state your stance and reasoning? In this case, stance and reasoning would be what that element of your identity is and how that's impacted your life. Body paragraphs. So this one says, does your body paragraph, there's only one for this paper, does it begin with a clear topic sentence? Does it contain two or more pieces of evidence? They could be examples, they could be quotes. They're probably not facts or statistics. They're probably just ways that you break apart your particular topic. But do you have at least two of those to give your body some depth? And then do you explain each piece of evidence with two or more effective commentary sentences? Lastly, does your body paragraph end with a clear summary sentence? The way that I test for that is I read my body paragraph out loud just to hear if it ends abruptly or not. If it ends too abruptly, if it feels short, or if it feels like it just transitions without much of an ending, that's where I usually pop in a summary sentence. Then for your conclusion, do you restate your thesis? A lot of you in your outlines just wrote your thesis again. When you restate, please make sure that you are using different words or at least a different word order just to make it fresh. Does your conclusion effectively recap the info in your body paragraph? My rule of thumb is a sentence or two per piece of evidence. So if I'm looking at my German paper and one of my pieces of evidence was the skills I gained, like the academic skills I gained, I'm going to make a summary sentence that recaps that. And then if my second piece of evidence was the people I've met because of my time studying German, I'm going to make a summary sentence about that as well. Summary sentence or two. Then lastly, does your final thought give your reader something further to think about or do? For this essay, you're probably going to be giving your reader something further to think about. It could be a powerful statement about yourself. It could be flipping the question onto them in a way that's creative. That one's really up to you. And then whole essay revision is just general stuff. Do your ideas flow in a logical order? Or if you're reading your essay, do you yourself get lost as you're reading? My solution for that is to reorganize topics, maybe reorganize your evidence, maybe see if there's ideas in your introduction that should be in your body, or ideas in your body that should be in your conclusion. And then lastly, are there any sections of your essay that are confusing or hard to read? Sometimes essays are just confusing because they don't follow in a logical order, or they've got information that maybe isn't necessary or not supportive of the thesis. So it's a good idea to read through your entire essay, or have someone proofread for you and say, hey, this section doesn't make sense. Or maybe everything does make sense. Editing wise, I'm going to do this category by category. Spelling is the first one, so check for misspelled words. You can use spell check to look for common misspellings, but also watch out for homophones like there, and there, to, and to. Affect and effect. Affect is the verb, effect is the noun, so just be careful with homophones especially. It's always good to have maybe an extra set of eyes proofread for you when you're looking for those. Capitalizing proper nouns in the first word in every sentence, just like we practiced in your proofreading practice today. And marks, like our proofreading practice today. Comma rules, and apostrophes, quotation marks, those kinds of things are things that we will cover later in the semester. Commas as early as next week. But this is a good refresher from what you've learned in English 2 especially. If there are unnecessary commas that need to be removed, so comma splices, maybe watch for those. I like my dog, comma, his name is Barkley, could be split into 2 sentences. Or you can pop a fan voice conjunction, like and, before his to fix that comma splice. Did you use apostrophes to show possession? So watch out for dropped apostrophe S. That's a really common one that we make when we speak, that we have to watch for when we write. If you use any quotations, like especially if you use one as an attention getter, are you enclosing your quotes in quotation marks? Sentence structure, watch out for run-on sentences. The trick for those is to read out loud. If a sentence feels too long, it probably is. At that point, you should split it. Or you can rephrase run-on sentences by cutting unnecessary words or phrases. Are there any fragments that lack a subject or a verb or simply don't make sense? So if you're reading out loud and you hear a sentence that doesn't feel complete, check to see if it's missing a subject or a verb. Agreement is the last category that I'm going to put on your plate for today. And again, we're going to cover agreement big time later on in the semester. Have you checked through your essay for agreement between subjects and verbs? So he goes to the store instead of he go to the store. You always want to make sure that singular subjects like he get a singular verb like goes. Plural subjects, they, would have the plural verb go. Have you checked through your essay for agreement between pronouns and antecedents as well? There probably aren't as many pronoun antecedent agreement errors in this particular essay, but make sure that pronouns like boys, boy would line up with a male antecedent his. In this case, boys, plural, has a plural antecedent there. It would be wrong for me to say the boy drove their cars to the store, right? It's one boy, one car. The boy drove his car to the store. Watch out for pronouns and their antecedents too. You can use this checklist as much or as little as you like as you edit your essay. I just wanted to throw this your way today so that you have a couple of days to make your writing as good as possible. One of the points of this essay, once again, is for me to get a good view on your writing early in the semester and give you pointers about what's going well already, things that you already are doing very well and we're just going to keep building on, and what are some of those early areas that we can start working on now to improve your reading or your writing overnight. The rest of the semester is about building grammar skills and writing skills. Let's talk about submitting this thing. So I'm going to read, you've got written directions for how to submit essays to Turnitin.com right here, just 4 steps right here. One note that I'll put right here is that this process will only work if your school email address has been added into Skyward. A lot of you probably did this last year in order to use Turnitin, but if you haven't yet, you're going to get a red error message that says, hey, you don't have an email address. It's okay if you get that message. You can use today to resolve that, and then we can submit your essay later in the week. It says, if you need to add your email, what you have to do is log into Skyward, click on My Account, and then you'll be able to type in your school email address in My Account. It does have to be your school email address, so first.lastname@milwaukeelutheran.org. And then you click the save button. Should be a blue save button on the right. You should note, Schoology does import this information around midnight. So if you did this even at like 3 p.m. today, it's going to grab that information at midnight, and it won't work necessarily until tomorrow. So just be warned about that time frame. I'm going to demonstrate this by viewing this course as another student. Let's view course as. I know this works for Chardonnay, so I'll be Char. Thanks, Char. Let's see, and I'm going to go into today's lesson, day 4. There we go. So who I am essay, this is the one where you will submit to. And you're going to get a view like this when you log in, unless your email address isn't working, in which case you got to resolve that first. So we got who I am essay. I don't believe clicking info gives anything because I didn't put any directions here. You guys have a prompt elsewhere. But Char's going to click upload submission. And then there's 2 ways to upload a document. It just depends on where you saved it. This upload submission tab right here, it's telling me choose file. This would be if I have the file saved to my computer. So if Char was writing on Microsoft Word, downloaded to her computer, she could choose file. And it opens up my Bitmoji stickers. Let's say I go to my documents, right? Letter to MPS HR is one that my wife wrote before, right? So this is actually my computer's documents that I can choose from. Obviously, I did not write my essay in here, so I'm not going to use this function. But if you did, please use that to upload your submission. More likely, you wrote yours in Word Online, and you'll use Cloud Submission, and then click OneDrive. This might open up my OneDrive here. It's going to prompt me to sign in. I'm not going to do that at this point, because I do not want to potentially mess something up on Chardonnay's end. But the way to go is Cloud Submission, OneDrive. It might prompt you to log in using your school email address and password. And then from there, you can select your file. From what I remember, Turnitin.com then gives you a bunch of these blue buttons, so upload and review, and then there's probably a review button, and then there's another submit button. So any blue buttons you need to click in order to get your essay uploaded, just click those until it says that it's been submitted. You should know your Turnitin Similarity report should come quickly, so it should tell you probably within minutes, maybe an hour, about how much similarity your paper has to other papers. For this particular essay, it doesn't matter much because very few of you are going to have similar essays to someone else on the internet because you wrote about yourself. I'm going to be looking through those just to see if anything goofy happens with plagiarism, but I highly doubt any of you plagiarized on this essay. And even if it does give you a similarity score, it's probably a coincidence. So I'll let you know as I'm grading these things, or as I start grading them over the weekend. Once again, you'll want to do this process by the end of Friday night. I'm going to start grading these essays on Saturday, but I'm probably going to take it pretty slow as I've got so much else going on with virtual learning. You guys have been great. Hit me up on Microsoft Teams if you need any help with editing or submitting. Have fun on your proofreading exercise today, too.